All right, guys, welcome back. We did a little drinks refill. But yeah, there's many topics to talk about this week, guys. Let's talk about one issue that's been a problem, I think, over the last 7 days. That's the refs. One in particular who's made more mistakes than most of them. Mike Dean. Curtis, I'd like to ask you some questions about Mike Dean. You, as a football fan, how do you feel about Mike Dean's performances of reffing as of late? Not even as of late. Let's actually just look at his CV. How do you feel?
He's a terrible ref. He must retire. He must never see the professional pitch ever again. In a space of 4 or 5 days, he had 2 decisions overturned, even though he went to the pitch side monitor and was like, hey, let me review this. And both times it was proven to be incorrect. Fine, the game against Southampton versus Man United, that did not have a material impact on the game, right? As well as the West Ham.
He sent off Suchek.
West Ham didn't have a material impact on the game because it was the last minute. Alright? But then they need to look into that, man. He needs to leave. He's old. He's getting more decisions wrong quite frequently now. And then the death threats that he received. Terrible that he got those death threats. Right? You shouldn't be sending death threats to people. Right? But at the same time, that frustration comes from someone. For people to send death threats for 2 mid-table teams. If everybody's complaining about you, then there's something wrong.
It says something
about your decision making. It says something, because I remember the very next, in fact, 5 minutes after the game, people started saying Mike Dean always wants to be the star of the show. Yeah. And it shows, because he's get these decisions wrong constantly. Guys, don't do death threats to refs. Just petition the FA to get rid of him. One side thing I would like to add is, I read a comment, came out in a statement, and it said that due to the death threats he received on him and his family, he would like to pull away from refereeing any games this coming weekend. You got to be flipping kidding me if the FA were going to put him near a pitch after him having 2 decisions before.
Yeah.
If he can come out and say, nah, I'm not going to ref this weekend because of death threats, instead of the FA telling him, hey, you made 2 mistakes this week. Sit down. I have to question you. Especially when you start reading articles such as, there's no black refs in the Premier League.
Yeah.
There hasn't been one since that one black ref, 2004, 2005, run about those.
Uriah Rennie.
Yes. And then, when you read the article that Rennie used to say, he's like, black refs get punished harshly when they make mistakes at that. And all the black refs are at the lower leagues. Mike Dean must go coach Sunday League football over there. Not another Premier League football game. Ever. If you're a Premier League ref, nah, and you can't make it onto the list of the Euros, nah, or even the list of the World Cup refs, nah, or even consideration for those ref in those games, you should not be officiating top games in the Premier League because you're not even fit enough to officiate at World Cup level.
Yeah.
What are you doing handling a Man United Liverpool game? What are you doing handling, in fact, any game considering a top team, because you are not good enough. I'm sorry for the death threats, but please retire for your own sake. You are terrible. And people will rejoice when you retire. Believe me when I say that. They will rejoice because they're tired of your terrible decision making.
Lucas, I'd like to ask you the same question. Since you might not have been, put under the same strain as an Arsenal supporter, let's look at it from a Man United point of view.
My first point is, look at all these issues with Mike Dean. You can see it's not just United games. No? So there was always a narrative that referees are only bad when it's at United games, Kanti. Anyway, but it's
under Ferguson.
Hey?
Under Ferguson.
Yes, where we won games and titles.
That's where the refs were bad.
The refs were great when Wenger was finishing 6th. They were great, no?
They were still under Ferguson.
Was the ref bad in the 8-2?
They were still bad. Are you starting hanging on to past glory like Liverpool supporters after they lost championship run? It's not looking good.
Sorry, let me dwell in 11th.
Liverpool. From top to bottom. You're Liverpool. But don't get it twisted. Well, 30 years.
100%. But I think it's the saddest thing that we actually know referees' names.
Yes.
Right. And that Mike Dean is synonymous with bad decisions. I think that doesn't happen naturally. I think I think he's just too old. He was maybe a good referee at some point.
Never.
I don't even know. But at his age now, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think, Mr. Posh?
For me, I've actually looked and, tried to be objective, because I think I've said it before on an episode of our podcast that I feel as though every time I see Mike Dean's name as a ref, I feel as though, we potentially going to lose this game. Not just lose this game, but lose it unfairly. He's always been that type of ref for me who thinks he's a performer. Feels like he's Willy Wonka running around and trying to be the star of the show. For me, I wouldn't necessarily put it as he's unfair to like he's biased against, not biased for certain teams. I feel like on his day, he'll decide, okay, Sharp, I'm for this team. It's not because he's going to say, okay, Sharp, Man United, I'm for them. I feel as though every team in the league can actually maybe look back and say, yeah, we've had a bad Mike Dean performance.
Besides Spurs, I've seen him celebrate a couple of Spurs.
Oh, yes.
Besides Spurs. Yeah. Mike Dean, you see.
They actually saw a compilation where he's been reffing Spurs games, and essentially when they miss, he actually has a reaction to the Spurs.
Or when they score and he celebrates.
Yes. I'll look for it and I'll actually post it on our Nothing But Football pages. And actually, don't forget to like. Yes, the words are not flowing out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. But yes, I'll throw that content in and then we'll see it properly. But yeah, it's essentially the only team he looks like he favors is Spurs. But to tell you the truth, I agree with you. The death threat's a little bit too far. But also
actually, guys, football is important.
No. I was gonna say it sounds very messed up for me to say this, but from a fan's point of view, I hate to use the word sympathize. There's another word out there, but I can understand where your voice gets unheard for so long. You make all these complaints and these refs keep getting away with it. It seems as though this is the only way for them to get the FA's attention, to make death threats. It's a pity that it had to come to this, but also I don't condone it. But
then he's the one who decided I don't want to ref, not the FA saying
yes. That is actually quite messed up. The fact that it's not them saying, "Bruh, you've messed up. Take some time off." It's him saying, "Nah." That's also very prima donna of him as well, because he's gonna come back in 2 weeks. Or when this guy is over. I hate that guy. But sorry about the death threats.
Sorry about the death threats, but just leave the football pitch. Leave it.
Yeah.
You are 51, whatever age, we don't want to see you ref another professional game. In fact, the English FA just need to get rid of all these refs. In fact, just make it an all-black official ref. You can't do any worse than Mike Deans and the likes.
Yeah, but we could go on and on about the refs because, we could look at it from many sides. No, we could literally look at it from many sides. We could look at it from the VAR aspect. We could look at it from the running of VAR. We could look at it from prima donna's side. But I think let's just leave it there for today.
Can I just make one final comment over there, Posh?
Yes, please. I appreciate your comment.
All these pundits that are saying that VAR is taken away from the beauty of football. And I saw a couple of things like on Talk Sport and what, where they're saying that football league coaches are not watching their teams anymore. If you are not watching a football game because refs are getting decisions right, alright? I question if you even love football in the first place. Alright? If you are, and if you should never be blaming a system that is created to get a fair decision. Because when the decision is right, nobody complains. Yeah. What does everybody complain about when VAR gets involved? The ref makes the wrong decision.
Yes.
Alright? We do not hear cries week in, week out in Italy. We do not hear cries week in, week out in Spain. We don't even hear it in Germany.
Yes.
Where the refs are competent. Alright?
Amen.
And then Spain and I think Spain, France, and Germany. The refs are still not full-time refs. They are part-time refs. The only 2 leagues with full-time refs, as far as I know right now, is England and Italy. In England, the refs have been terrible since 19 whatever. Alright? Get your act together. You're the world's richest league. You can't afford to hire competent refs. Do like what they did in the Premier League. Go start hiring foreign imports. It'll improve the quality of your referee. Because all of them, you can look countrywide, they're all terrible. There's a mistake in every game. They can't even use VAR correctly. Man can't pick up a dive on VAR and you expect him to ref a game right up and down 90 minutes. Nah. Get better refs. So pundits, stop saying that VAR ruined the beautiful foot game for you. It didn't. You just used to cheating your way to league titles.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely agreed. But let's leave that for now. Let's actually discuss the table so far. It seems as though City has turned up the gear and have decided that, this is our league now. If we look at the league, number 1 is City at 50 points with a game in hand. Number 2 is Manchester United at 45. Number 3, Leicester City. Number 4, Liverpool. Number 5, Chelsea. I'm going to go up to number 11 because my team is there. No, number 6, West Ham. Number 7, Everton. Number 8, Tottenham. Number 9, Aston Villa. Number 10, Leeds. Number 11, Arsenal. Don't act like your team's not at the bottom, bro.
I'm not. I just don't want to talk about it.
No, we talk about it. We talk about his team when he loses. I think it's fair that we talk about our team when he loses.
He doesn't talk about his own team when he loses.
No.
I do. Now I face that up. When do you talk about referees on your team?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I can't help it if they get wrong in my game.
Well, I don't think we can have much discussion. Well, we probably will for the sake of the podcast. We'll have discussions about Arsenal there at 11 on page 2. But Lucas, I'd like to ask you about how you feel about City's form, number 1, and United's chase for the title race.
Yeah. So City's form, I think very, very good. Like I said on the last podcast, City is the type of team that can go on these runs. You know what I mean? So if they're sitting at this stage, I don't know how many games are left. 15 games or so? 15, 16?
Yes, essentially it's 15, 16. City have 16 games left. Yeah. And majority of the Premier League has 15 games.
Yeah. So I can see them winning a lot of those games that they have to finish. I don't think it's written off yet. The title, I think City will still have a hard period coming up. They'll still have to play the top teams again, and it's a difficult season. I don't think they run away with it, but they're definitely strongest. United's title conversation, I think the title conversation is pretty much slowly creeping out the window. I think United needs to secure top 4, but that in itself is still progress too.
Actually, yeah, I agree with you on the part where United was never in the title race, but I think it was a beautiful feat for their fans that they were number 1. But everyone always knew that once City got everything sorted out, that they would be back at number 1. Uncle Curtis?
Still a slight chance.
Yeah, you have a slight chance.
We can score goals. So there's a chance.
You have a slight chance. You also have a slight chance of getting Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, I'm good looking enough.
No, give you that. As pointless as that stat is.
About to get divorced to Kanye, bro.
Huh?
Go throw your shot, bro.
Oh wait, let me go take it to Nando's.
Yes, but I'm just saying, as pointless stats come. Curtis, what do you feel about the Manchester City and their chances?
City have proven that they can go on insane unbeaten runs. Like they did the year that... What happened?
Where they got 100 points.
Yeah, 100 points.
And when they got 98 points.
No, the year that they took it away. Not even the year they took it away from Liverpool.
That's the 98 points.
98 points where
the
Liverpool
season before lost.
Leading, and then City just stopped losing games up until the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
All right? But I feel that is predetermined by how far they go in other cup competitions, most notably the Champions League right now. Right? I'm looking at Man City's next couple of fixtures, which will determine if they'll continue losing games for me in the league or not. Right? Is how they'll do their squad rotation. Right? I'm looking at that squad and they're playing Swansea tomorrow. They're playing Spurs on Sunday. 21st, they play Arsenal. No, they didn't play another team before Arsenal.
Might be the Champions League before.
No. Champions League is on the 24th. Alright? So it's another team. So they're playing basically every 3 days up until the 24th from now. Alright? It's Arsenal and Tottenham. And Everton, yeah. They're playing Everton. Alright? Yeah. In that thing. So that's 3 tough teams. I know Arsenal's been playing terribly, but surprisingly, they've got the second best defensive record in the Premier League. You know, if he decides, okay, let me rest players for Champions League because that's the cup competition I want to win, that changes whether he will get points against certain teams.
Yeah.
He could slip up against a team he normally doesn't slip up against, especially as they start progressing into the latter stage of the Champions League, because they are going to win the FA Cup tomorrow. That's another fixture. Right? I don't see them losing. Swansea, if they do lose, then he's prioritizing other cup competitions. But I think Pep is competitive. He wants to do what he did in Spain. He wants to win every trophy that's available to him that season. Right? So that's where I think it will come down to. The same way I thought that Man United's title chances or cup competition chances will be down to which competition they prioritize. Because in this season, when you're playing every 3 days, fatigue is going to kick in. They can't afford to lose Sterling or Foden or somebody like that. Okay, Foden, yes, because he's just coming to the team. But they can't. Let's say if Diaz gets injured, they might start shipping goals. We don't know.
Yeah.
Emerick Laporte is on the bench. That's not a bad replacement.
One of the best defenders from last season.
But I'm just saying, you just might start shifting more goals. Instead of you winning 5-0, now it's you're losing 1-0 because you had one mistake in the game.
Okay.
And Lucas, I have a question for you. The top 4 is Manchester City, Manchester United, Leicester City, and Liverpool. Looking at this top 4, how do you think it might, is it a mirror of what's going to happen at the end of the season, or do you think there's going to be some changes from this?
It's not far off, right? I would assume City, United, and Liverpool actually finish in the top 4. Leicester, they, like we say, Spurs when Vardy and Son are not, when Kane and Son are not there. Vardy and Ndidi at Leicester. Yes. Without them, they drop points.
Absolutely.
And there's obviously Chelsea and whatever, Chelsea, Tottenham, all the Arsenal, all the other teams that are able to come into the 4th spot. Do I think it'll end in those positions as it currently is? No, because I don't think Liverpool finishes 4th. Liverpool's at least 3rd.
Yeah.
I still think it's City's league.
So you think, basically 4th position is going to be, what's his name? A wild card.
Yeah, a wild card. I'm tipping Chelsea for it, but I think a wild card, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Uncle Curtis, what do you think? I give you the same question.
First City, second Liverpool. Pains me to say this. Third Man United if they get knocked out the cup competitions. Fourth Chelsea.
Yeah. Last week he said fourth Arsenal.
So we lose to Aston space of 2 days. These opinions change on a week-by-week basis, like Potion said last week. But then, again, to me, it comes down to Man United. Are they still in the cup competitions? If they lose to Real Sociedad, if they lose to West Ham tonight, right, they have to concentrate on Premier League. That means you're literally playing one game a week. If you screw up from there, you have nobody but yourself to play.
Yeah, there's a Pogba injury now, so I'm not even that confident.
I'd actually like to pose one last question. I'll answer it because since I asked the question. In terms of Europa, who do you see qualifying? Because I'm looking at this table right now. 5th is Chelsea, 6th West Ham, 7 Everton, 8 Spurs, 9 Aston Villa. I'm going to leave the rest. But essentially, this is a pool of very good teams. Who do you see challenging for Europa?
Yeah, I think it's a tough one. And remember, Europa has been getting English teams that should be in the Champions League.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's been Chelsea in the final. There's been Arsenal in the final. There's been that kind of thing. So it's a tough one. Look, like I said, who I expect to finish in top 4, but then you just look at then under that for the last 3 Europa League spaces, Tottenham, Arsenal. I'm not going to put Villa there, but I mean Everton. These are quite strong teams. So
thank you for being nice by including us.
What?
Thank you for being nice by including us.
Yeah. Look. Jokes aside, Arsenal is still challenging top 6 team. You know what I mean? Like jokes aside, you still have a guy that shared a golden boot in your team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So jokes aside, I'd put that there. But it's going to be quite a tough one. I want to see what Everton do. Sorry, and I forgot Leicester there even. Last season's top scorer.
And I'd like to point out, I told you two. Last week, I said my second side, West Ham, has been putting in some good performances.
And they've got Jay Lings now, actually. We can't write them off. They've got Jay Lings.
They're sixth. They're tied with Chelsea, who's 5th, and they're 1 point below Liverpool, who's 4th. I think we need to put them in consideration. My boy Sushek. It's actually such a shame that my second side that I'm rooting for is better than my first, but yeah. What can you say, man?
What's your Europa League spots? What do you think?
I think for their sake, I hope they don't make Europa, because if they make Europa, it's going to crash their next season. Because,
who? Arsenal?
No, West Ham.
Oh.
I'm talking about West Ham first. Since they're on top, I'm giving them the respect they deserve.
Yeah.
If they make it into Europa, it's going to be tough fixtures that might influence their form this season.
Yeah.
For Arsenal, from looking at it, with them trying to qualify for Europa, it's going to be a tough one. I think the best way that Arsenal can try is just win Europa.
Oh, currently. Yeah.
Like win Europa, you can come into Champions League.
Currency,
yeah, because there's no other way for you to be in European competitions. You're out of FA Cup. There's no, you can't come in. Other than that, I don't see Arsenal anywhere in Europa spots. I understand that's harsh as an Arsenal supporter, but I don't see them in those spots.
I agree with you. Yeah.
It'll be good for them.
In Europa spots either.
In Europa spots. I don't see it. And I think
top 7 if other teams don't win the cups.
I don't see them there. And I hope for their sake that they don't make it, because I think it'll be a nice way for them to actually concentrate on the league next year. But that's just my 2 cents.
I agree with you there. I think 5th Everton, 6th Tottenham, 7th I'll give it to Aston Villa or West Even Everton over there, I think Arsenal will finish 8th or 9th.
So you're going to cut out Tottenham?
And Leicester.
I said 6th.
You said what?
And Leicester.
Oh, 6th.
Yeah.
Leicester.
Oh, okay. So Leicester,
I think Arsenal will finich 8th or 9th, if I'm being honest.
Oh.
Who's in 9th right now? It is
Aston Villa.
Okay. I think one of those teams will fall out. I think they'll finish 8th or 9th. God willing.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Depending on how we play against Benfica next week, it'll tell me if my team has the right mentality for Europa or not. Because early on in the season, I guess it was pub teams that we were playing in the Europa group stages, but the football was better there.
Yeah.
If they had continued the same mentality where the football is better on that side, give us a chance of winning Europa if the draw is kind to us. If we play in Benfica, we get knocked out. I'm going to start watching goals.
So then in what's remaining in Europa, because you're saying if the draw is kind to you, if the draw is not, is Arsenal comparable to the strong teams in the competition?
I think in Europe, yes. In England, no.
Okay. Yeah.
In Europe, yes, because in Europe, we still have a good, strong defensive record in the Premier League. I think certain things are not going our way. I also think it's down to the way that, I'm not giving refs an excuse, but the way games are officiated in England, where it's a bit more physical. In Europe, Willock was scoring goals. So I believe Pepe will score goals. I believe Aubameyang will score goals against Inter Milan if we play Inter Milan. I can see that happening. Okay. But it has to be kind. Let me meet Inter Milan in the semi-final or final. Right? Because even when you watch Inter Milan in the league, those guys ship goals. They'll win games, but they ship goals. And in England, I think it's just got to outpace Ashley Young, and you'll be good.
Yeah, man. I think that's we've covered all that we needed to cover. Should be an interesting couple of weeks to see what happens, because I've always said that February is always a vital period. Between February and early weeks of March, this is where there's still quite a congestion of fixtures.
All comps. Yeah.
Yes. So it's going to be an interesting round of fixtures. We could be back in page 1. I don't think you guys will be on page 2. You guys are doing well. I'd like to say this on record. That congratulations, Lucas. I'm happy for you.
Well done on the school, Lucas.
Yes. No. Give him his credit, bro. Like he's stuck by his boys. He still wears his Man United shirt in public, even though it's embarrassing.
I'll give him that. He's stuck by his boys.
Yeah.
He's using one of the Man United fans that's falling in from the beginning. He's clearing the deadwood.
Yes. But yeah. Let's see what happens from this point. It's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to discussing it with you guys. But for this week, I think we're done. It's been a good discussion. Thank you guys for joining us. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, tell your aunt, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your girlfriend, Os Refile, tell Os Mampinani, everyone. Thank you guys.
Matale Maria.
Tell them all. So yes, thank you guys for joining us. It's been Uncle Curtis here.
Tell your girlfriends about the podcast. That's all I can say.
Why?
I need women, listeners, and women love football.
Oh, okay, fair point. There has been a surge of women who've started to enjoy the beautiful game.
And I'm a pretty face to look at.
Yes, you are. We are all God's children. We are all God's children.
Hey, that Zarona's been working on that beard, so.
Yes, indeed.
Gotta feel this.
Nah, let me not be a hater, bro. You're looking good. Let me not be a hater. We've got Uncle. Would you prefer the name Uncle Lucas, or would you just like to be called Lucas?
Yeah, I think I need a dope ass nickname on this thing. It's like there's Uncle Curtis, there's Mr. Potion, and then there's
because I feel like
regular guy.
You were the one who was hosting earlier on, so now you don't have the sign off like.
So I'm my mixtape. Uncle Curtis.
So I'm giving you the opportunity. What would you like your nickname to be?
We're gonna figure this out yet. We're gonna figure this out. I need a cool
I'm
name.
gonna start with Louis K.
Okay, I will.
No.
Louis K is a starter.
I'll find one. I can't think of one right now. But you will not get the one that you like. You're gonna get the one that you least like. Thank you.
Sure.
But yes, that's been it from us. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.